Sadly, I've only attended 2 speeches in my life, but they were great speeches. The first was a motivational speech put together by Zig Ziglar. The second was put together by a local company, you could call it, called Building the Bridges. And the third was a musical performance followed by a short speech at Hell's Kitchen by Dark Side. Okay, I'd like to start with Zig Ziglar. This is him. It's got to be an old picture because when I saw him, he was actually in a wheelchair and he couldn't talk, so he had his daughter speaking for him, which is weird, but it was still cool. And there was probably 8 or 9 speakers altogether, but he was the main one. He teaches, or used to teach, business seminars on how to market and motivate. And it was very well put together and motivating. And here's some quotes that I like to say from Zig Ziglar. A goal properly set is halfway reached. A lot of people quit looking for work as soon as they find a job. Building a better you is the first step to building a better America. Every choice you make has an end result. Every obnoxious every obnoxious act is a cry for help. Expect the best, prepare for the worst, capitalize on what comes. Failure is a detour, not a dead-end street. If you learn from defeat, you haven't really lost. If you treat your wife like a thoroughbred, you'll never end up with a nag. Money isn't the most important thing in life, but it's reasonably close to oxygen in the gotta have it scale. Second, I would like to speak about building the bridges. And it's actually a couple of guys named Larry and Dennis, some of you might know them. And they go around to different high schools and different places and speak about local gangs and try to deter kids from joining gangs. And I'd like to start with Dennis. I'm pretty sure that he's the one that started the whole company, and he used to be a Lakewood Hustler Crip. He went to school, and he has his master's. He always the main point of his story was that he joined the gang because most people join gangs because they're lacking something in their family system. And he was actually beat as a kid, and he's half Asian, half black. His mother was Asian, and she was really strict, and his father would beat him, and his mother would beat him and lock him in a closet, and his father didn't really do anything about it. So he'd just be locked in a closet all day. Then there's Larry, and he didn't really say which gang he was from, but he was affiliated with Hilltop Crips, and he was mostly a player, a hustler, sold drugs, and basically ate off women. And he doesn't have a college education, but he owns an ice cream shop on Hilltop, and he works with building the bridges, motivating kids to stay out of gangs. Then there was another speaker with them that is in a wheelchair because he got shot from one of his boys and paralyzed over some drugs. Another thing I'd like to share is some people might not know about the gang history of Tacoma, but it's really not that old. It hasn't been gangs here for very long. I think it started in the early 80s, pretty sure, sometime in the 80s, I think early 80s, when crack hit real hard, and some guys from California, some California Crips came up here and settled in Hilltop and started spreading crack, and eventually they ended up killing each other, and then the people that they had working for them that were from Tacoma started Hilltop Crips. The third I'd like to speak about is a performance by Darkside. And the musical part of it was horrible. There was like 12 guys up there with microphones. None of them could really rap. They had their lines down and everything, but you couldn't really understand them because they were all trying to rap each other's parts, and they were basically an imitation of other rappers that are already famous, so it wasn't very good. But the good thing that I saw in the performance was, after the performance, one of the guys spoke about supporting local artists and how it'd be good for Tacoma's economy and status. Because if you go to another state, people don't know about Tacoma, they don't know about Washington, and except for Bill Gates, that's pretty much what it's famous for. And I agreed with that supporting local artists, not just rap artists, but all artists would be really good for Tacoma. All these speeches were important to me because they all have a little bit to do with me. I told you about Zig Ziglar, Building the Bridges, and Darkside. If you get a chance, I encourage you all to check them out. Thanks.